You mentioned today, talking about the temperature of the team, I guess, and what did you mean by that? Did you mean it's good to not be complacent, or you're a little tight?
Yeah, I mean, I think I said it on the radio that I think it's good where we're at, in this business, and I've said this before, you don't want to be comfortable. I think it's good when you come in here with a healthy level of, I don't know what the word is. I'm trying to pick the right word because I know you guys will run with any word that's not the right word. No, I don't think concern. I think it's a healthy level of respect for the fact that if you don't prepare and try and get better and, have a very attentive mindset in meetings out on the practice field, I think that where we're at right now is very good. We've been in close games where we haven't played our best football, and we know that, but we've won those games. So, in my opinion, it's kind of the best place to be in. We don't think we're the best in the world. We don't think we're absolutely terrible. I think we're in a good, healthy mindset of we're just working to get better. This is week 3 of the season. Nobody is where they need to be at the end of the year. And, we're just going to attack each day trying to get better and trying to be the best version of the Philadelphia Eagles that we can be.
How much do you enjoy, year in and year out, and who knows if this is even one of your last times playing on Monday Night Football with the world watching, and this, being 2-0 teams too?
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of primetime games this year, and I think it's always fun to have more eyes on you. You get back later, which sucks, but it's fun for the game time. And it's good to play good teams. I mean, you want to test yourself. You want to play good defenses. We played, obviously, really good defense week 1, good defense week 2, and we're getting another one this week. Todd Bowles has been one of the best defensive minds in the game, since I've been in the league. And you see people take things from him and grab, and that's when it's really evident, how apparent that the rest of the league respects you when they're taking things that you're doing well. And Todd's phenomenal. So they have great players, great coaches. So it's another good test for us.
Is your front 7 as tough as you face?
Yeah. I mean, we've faced some good front sevens. I mean, New England, I think, has a very, very good front 7 and a very good coach. Tampa Bay is certainly up there. They have certainly the best nose guard we probably faced so far. Vita's a hell of a player. Shaq Barrett, their linebackers inside are phenomenal. I mean, they're good across the board, and Todd does a great job of letting those guys make plays. So I think it's definitely a good test for us up front.
How much was that 2021 game, the last time you played the Buccaneers? Mm-hmm. How much of an impetus did that help you guys be to where you guys are today, help you guys in the 2022 season, especially when it comes to Jalen too?
There's been a lot of things. I mean, the 2021, I think we played him twice that year. We played him in the regular season and in the playoffs. So, that was 2 years ago at this point, which doesn't seem like a long time, but in NFL years, it's quite different. You can draw some things on it. There's obviously learning moments from that far back, but there have been a hell of a lot of moments where Jalen's learned from over the last 2 years, and where I've learned from, and the whole team.
The growth is just when I look back at it, it's like you can really see how different of a player he is now compared to then. I guess when you think about how much has changed for him in that time, you, as someone who's always been supportive of him, what gave you the confidence? Was it something you saw that year that made you confident that you could get to this?
Well, I try to be confident in all my teammates. I think that's an important role of a teammate. I think, Jalen in particular, he just does all the right things. He does all the right things off the field, on the field. He carries himself the right way. He's got great body language. His mentality is as dialed in as you're going to get. Guys love playing with him. So he's got all of those things. And, it always felt like, he was improving, right? Like, even, everybody's going to have step backs in their career. I've certainly had mine. But there's always a desire to improve, get better, learn. He retains information really well. I always felt like it was only a matter of time.
For a long time here, you never really got to practice against, big nose tackles.
has these past 2-3 years, in particular having Jordan here, I don't want to say help you for this type of matchup, but better prepare you for this type of matchup?
You know, I mean, maybe we've had some big nose guards. I mean, even in Billy Davis's scheme, you know, Clifton Gether's like 6'8", 330 pounds. He's a monster. You know, Benny Logan wasn't small. Had Haloti Nada here for a stint. Bo Allen, Honey Bobo was a pretty. So now Jordan is quite a different specimen than a lot of people, and I don't know that him and Vita are the same style and type of player, even though they're both massive. I think it's always a learning process. You're always trying to find different ways to have success against anybody you play, and you know it's going to be a tough one this week. He's a great player. They're good across the board on defense. So, but yeah, I think whenever you're playing, just to get back to Jordan, whenever you're playing good players in practice, you're going to be getting better. You know, the iron sharpens iron. You know, whenever you're playing good players, you're going to be improving in practice.
Jason, you mentioned the close outcomes of the first 2 games. And, I mean, I don't want to set up a straw man here, but you could say, like, okay, they won 2 games and they've experienced some close games, so they'll be better prepared for a dogfight later in the season because they've now experienced close games. Whereas you could have won both of those games by wider margins.
Sure.
Like you did a number of games last year, and then someone might say, well, they haven't been tested yet.
Yeah.
3 games. Like, I guess what I'm asking is, is one better than another? You know, is it good to go through?
You want all of that throughout a season. I know everybody's really focused in like the now, I guess, and like the narrative, like the start, I guess. But to me, it's just an ongoing process, and you're going to have, you want to have games where you're clicking and you know, kicking tail and executing on all cylinders. Like, yeah, we want to do that, and that's a great sign when teams are doing that. But it's also a good sign when you're closing out competitive, tough games and playing smart football down the stretch, because you're going to need to do that at some point if you want to win a Super Bowl or win in the playoffs. So, you know, if you're winning all your games by, 2-3 points and really sloppy ball and making mistakes, like that's not good. But as long as you're showing improvement, I think that, there's learning moments from the first 2 weeks. There's a healthy level of desire for everyone in this building to improve right now. I think there's positives to take whichever way you look at it.
You mentioned Vita a little bit. Basically, since he got there, they've been very good stopping the run. But obviously, it's more than him.
Yeah.
As a team that generally runs the football very well, when you come up against good run defenses, what do they do that other people can't do?
Well, I mean, one, they have great players. You mentioned Vita. I mean, you got to have good players in this league. And I think that, their scheme and the way that Todd does things makes it incredibly difficult. There are multiple defense. They don't just, line up the same way. They're going to throw you off. They're going to, build a lot of men on the line to take off double teams if they can. They're going to blitz. He'll do a lot of different things, and he has the savviness to know when to implement all of it. I think at this point in the league, most defenses have all these things. It's really the savviness of when to utilize them and having the players that he has. And, that's why it's tough when you play against really, really good coordinators. You're some days you're going to get them and you're going to be clicking all cylinders. And then some days it's going to be tough sledding because they've kind of drawn some things up that got you a little bit. And hopefully you adjust in the game and you make it right. But, it's a little bit of all of that.
You mentioned in the Amazon documentary, there was
Yeah.
that scene where you were talking very frankly about your life after football and CT and all those possibilities. Was it important to you to have that in the movie?
No, we thought about whether it should be in or shouldn't be, or at least I did. But I think that we wanted the documentary to be as real as possible and to be as authentic as possible, and ultimately we felt like including it. We certainly didn't want it to be a main theme of it, because I don't think it's a main theme to players or me. I think it's something that's kind of in the background that you're aware of, and there are things that I'm looking forward to potentially trying to mitigate the eventual ramifications of that. But Yeah, I think it was important for us in the documentary across the board to try and be as authentic and open and, letting people into, what's going on in my head and NFL players' head, their family, the team. I think it was important to do it across the board.
Did you guys come close to taking it out, or was it kind of taken for granted, like it's going to be in there?
No, I don't think we got close to taking it out. I think, you talk about everything going into the film. You go in there and you watch. I think the first time we watched it, it's like 2 hours and something minutes long. It hasn't been trimmed down, and you're debating, what stays in, what stays out. So at some point, just about everything kind of is, what do we want to leave in, what do we want to take out? And I remember that was a discussion, but I think, again, we just wanted to be as real and authentic as possible. So I don't think it was ever as close as other scenes, potentially, but yeah.
Was there something taken out that you wish wasn't taken out in retrospect?
Yes, there was, and I'm trying to remember what it was. It was a scene that I liked because it was funny and it meant something to me, but I think at the end of the day, it didn't really, probably wasn't going to strike a chord with the national audience. I believe it was something involving either Kylie and her dad, but I can't remember it off the top of my head now. But yeah, there wasn't much main stuff trimmed out of it. It was more like accessory things that didn't fit into the piece structurally, I guess.